Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Medita, and today, I thought I could show you the authors that caused me to have so many freaking books on my shelf, aka my instant buy authors. Instant buy authors to me are authors where I will buy any book of. Any book that they publish, I am buying. I don't even care. I'm not reading it first. I'm not reading the blurb. I am just purchasing it. I'm giving the authors money. I want the book on my shelf. That caused me to have quite a bit of a space problem, but that's an issue for another day. Even though they're my instant buy authors, I don't love every book they write. I like the books, but I don't love every single one. But just overall, still, they're really good authors to me. And yeah, I thought I'd share. Oh, and also, who are your instant buy authors? Because I need some new ones. Because some of these authors I've read every book of, and it's kind of sad because I need more instant buy authors then so I can binge read all their books. Yeah, let's just get started. Starting off strong, we're gonna start with an author that everyone knows because I can't stop talking about her. I have a shrine dedicated to this author and a series by this author, and every single book that they write, I absolutely love. This author writes my comfort books, and that is no other person than Tahereh Mafi. I know, right? Shocker. Who would have thought that she was in here? No one, right? Because I hate the Shadow Me series so much. Tahereh Mafi is one of my comfort authors, not only because the Shadow Me series is just my comfort series, but because this Woman Kingdom is so different and so magical. You can tell her writing improved. I love everything. I mean, she literally created Aaron Warner. Like, what else do I have to say? She created my book boyfriend. There's nothing else I have to say to explain why I love her so much. This is like the one author I want to meet in real life.
Before I die.
It's one of my life goals, okay? Because I need to talk with her about the fact that she literally wrote my comfort series that I will read whenever I'm feeling bad, especially Ignite Me and Restore Me. Also, if you haven't read the Shadow Me series or this Woman Kingdom, which I'm hoping is not true, you have to read it right now. My second instant buy author is Lippincott. I don't know how to pronounce Raquel's name, so I'm just gonna be referring to her as Lippincott in this video. Lippincott wrote these 4 amazing books. I have read these 4 and then I bought this right away because, excuse me, the writing in these books is so amazing. I first obviously read 5 Feet Apart. I cried my eyes out. I never wanted to read ever again. I was not doing well. It was amazing. I felt everything I had to feel. I was not doing well, but I was doing amazing at the same time. And if you like those type of feelings and feeling like you dried up on the inside because you cried your eyes out, then you should definitely read Lippincott's books. Because the second book that made me cry my eyes out is All This Time, which is by the same author. So you can already tell a theme here. This author makes you cry. And I love crying, so that's just great. But All This Time was also so emotional. Did I see the plot twist coming? No. Maybe I just didn't pick up the signs and the foreshadowing, but I was bawling my eyes out. I loved it. I loved the focus on the color yellow. I love the costumes. I love the ending. I love the quotes in here. And then just recently, I read The Lucky List, and this, I think, is now my second favorite book by Lippincott. All This Time is my first, then it's The Lucky List, then it's 5 Feet Apart, and I sadly still have to read She Gets the Girl, but I already know I'm gonna love it because I love this writing style. I love the quotes. I love everything in this book. The Lucky List has such amazing quotes about fate and future and how you cannot control what's gonna happen and who you end up with, but that you just have to be with whoever you want to be, and you can't hold yourself back from loving the person you want to love. It's so good! Instant buy author right here. And also, look how beautiful all the spines match up. This is why she's one of my top instant buy authors, because all the books look so nice next to each other on the shelf. And I know I have the UK covers and that the US covers are a bit different, but I'm sorry. The UK spines are just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I can't. It's gorgeous. I love the same font. I love the little artwork. These books have a coming of age theme, I feel like, in them as well. Like, there's romance. There's a lot of romance in here. Don't even get me wrong. We love it. But there's also such amazing life lessons in here. I just love it. Buy her books. Lippincott. My third instant buy author is a fantasy and romance author. And I also have a bit of annotations in some of these books, but not a lot. And that is Bridget Collins. The first book that I ever read by Bridget Collins already became the reason why she is an instant buy author now for me, and that is Call What You Want. I bawled my eyes out. I was not doing well. I couldn't handle my life. The focus on family in here. The betrayal in this book is so good. I loved it. I've reread this, I think 3 times now in total, and it's just so amazing. I was crying my eyes out for Rob and for Megan. The names are a bit old, I know, but you know, I still love Rob and Megan. But yeah, right away I fell in love with Bridget's writing style. She also has amazing quotes and just in general life lessons in her book, which I just love. This is my number one, and then these two I both only gave 3 stars. I thought they were okay. I feel like if I had read them a couple years ago, they would have definitely been 5-star reads. We have a lot of focus on foster care in these 2 books, which are also really nice. She writes daddy and mommy issues just so well. And you know, I relate to daddy and mommy issues because I have parental issues, and this book has a lot of parental issues in it. So, you know, I gotta love it. If you want to cry and have an instant author that will make you cry with every single one of her books, you have to read these books by this author. I'm forcing you. And then Bridget Cameron also wrote a few fantasy books, and these are the 5 fantasy books she has. I read the A Curse of Dark and Lonely trilogy, and it's one of my favorite YA fantasy series just because it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, so obviously I'm gonna love it. All these characters in this book are so different. We have Harper, who is obviously the main character, and she is like I don't even know how you call it, transformed, no, what's it called? Like, she just shows up randomly in this fantasy world, and she's like, what the heck? And then she kind of has to help the Prince Ren, lift the curse so he can live happily ever after, but she's very confused. And then there's this hottie called Gray, who's very nice, and you know, his name is Gray, so you can guess a few things already with that name. Anyways, it's a beautiful written fantasy trilogy. I absolutely love the first book, and then the second and third book also have more focus on side characters, which are really nice. So it's not just only about Harper and Prince Ren, but other characters get introduced later in the series that make it an even better series in my opinion. And then the 2 books I have not read by Bridget are Defy the Night and Forging Silver into Stars, and I'm very excited to read them. I'm pretty sure that Forging Silver into Stars is the sequel series to A Curse of Dark and Lonely, so it's in the same universe, but about the kids, and I'm so excited for that. I'm sorry, I want to see them all as old parents. That's gonna be so cute. And then this, I'm pretty sure, is in a different universe, but I don't know. I actually don't know, but I know I'm gonna love the books because it is who? Bridget Cameron. Now let's go to my 4th one, who is also a very known author now on my page because I can't stop talking about one of her books. And that is Ashley Woodfall. Dun dun dun. Yes, Ashley Woodfall wrote When You Were Everything, which is my top favorite book at the moment. It's amazing, it's emotional, it's about losing a friend. I talk about this book way too much. People are probably already sick of it, so I'm sorry, but I'm also not sorry because I'm shoving this book down your throat so you will read it, okay? If you've ever lost a friend, your best friend, read this book. You're gonna be transformed back into the past and you're gonna relive some of those scenes. Is it gonna be sad? Yeah. Are you gonna cry? Yeah. But is it still gonna be amazing because of the quotes in here? Yes. Let me read to you some of these quotes. I've seen the way you can lose someone in slow motion, and I know the kind of things it can make me do, so I keep my head down listening as her voice fades away. Yes. We crumbled or unraveled, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. We broke up. But like, on a friendship level. It's so good. It's so emotional. Ready? Did she see what was happening to us? Did she know why she was choosing the new friends over me again and again? Don't make me cry because I'm gonna cry. I'm also rereading this book right now because I'm annotating it for Clara. And then shortly after, I read her short story in Blackout, which was also amazing. And I also started reading Nothing Burns as Bright as You, and this is made out of poems. It's so good. I'm only on page 13 though, but let me read to you some of these. I always want to be close to the inferno of you, even if it kills me. Fire and water, flames and frost, hot and cold, burning and freezing. Opposites attract. Just like magnets attract, it's so good! I love Ashley Woodfall. I love the writing style. I also actually sent her an Instagram DM because I was like, hey, your book made me bawl my eyes out, and when she replied, I started crying again. This is my number 1 instant by author right now. We love her books, we love everything about her, and we love her dedications because her dedications make me really emotional. My next instant by author is a pretty new one as well, and that is Holly Jackson, aka the author of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. She has not written a lot of books. She has the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, and then 5 Survive. This is the only book I haven't read, but I'm reading it this month, so I'm so excited for it. But she writes such amazing YA thrillers with a great writing style. It's always entertaining. You're all hooked from the beginning. It's never boring, and I think that's the best part about these books because there's no fillers really. It's tension for 400 pages straight, and it's just so great. I also read Killjoy already this year, and yes, yet again, I love how all these books relate and how from the beginning, clues are there for the final case in the 3rd book. Everything is so planned out, so well thought through. It's just so great. The romance is such a great subplot too. And even though the romance isn't like the main plot, you still root for the couples in this book because the small scenes that we get are so good. Like you grasp for them. They're just so nice. Her plot twists are great. I read her books for the shock factor. I read her books for the le gasp moment that I'm gonna feel. Holly Jackson, thank you for making me feel emotions while reading. You're an instant by author of mine. My next instant buy author is Olivia Blake. Oh, actually, she also has a second name for when she writes YA books. Let me get that one. I forgot about that for a sec. Where is it? Her second name is Alexine Farrell Mouth. That's her YA book. The first books I read by her were actually comics, and those are the Alpha Little Kimura stories, Alpha 1 and Alpha 2 Rising. Even though they're only 2 graphic novels, they're already so good. I fell in love right away. I love the stories in here. They're always so interesting and so different than anything else I've read. It's just so good. You're hooked from the beginning. And right after, I read, obviously, the fairy tale retellings. And when I tell you that I love these and that these are my favorites by her, then I'm not lying to you. These are amazing. They make your brain tingle, and you have to think about some of these stories again and again because some of them are just so confusing. But I love short stories, and that makes them just so good. Like the first one already, Pins and Needles, the ending of the short story, I was like, I have to buy now all her books. And that's exactly what I did, because after reading Pins and Needles, I went onto Amazon and I said, brrr, and every single one of her books arrived the next week because I just had to do it after reading Pins and Needles. Let's not even get me started on all these fun artworks we have in her books. Who does that? Just her. I love it. She has such cute little add-ons in all of her books that just make everything even more interesting and more fun to read. Hello, the Wish Bridge. Who are you and why are you deciding to write such amazing stories? I don't understand. She's taking all my money away. And she's even good at writing poems because she wrote this one story called How to Dispel Friends and Curse People, Letters from an Inspiring Poet to the Village Witch. And they're so good. I love these poems. They're amazing. They're so cute. Yeah. I also really liked La Petite Morte. Again, it was such a different story than anything else I've ever read. It was very much dark. The mood of this book was, it was raining on a London street. It's slightly foggy. That's the vibe of this book, and I love that vibe. I think she also used to write fan fiction, I'm pretty sure. And I mean, that probably just makes her a better author. I don't know. I love her books, okay? Buy Olivia's books. It's not a choice. It's me forcing you. My next instant buy author is Alice Oseman. Why do I have all of Alice Oseman's books? Well, because of the Heartstopper series, because everything in here is great. I know these are graphic novels, but still, there is so much plot in here and such great character development, as well as such diverse and different characters that it makes you fall in love with every single book in the universe. The writing style is amazing. We have such relatable teenage characters that really show the issues a lot of teenagers go through. I mean, I was bawling my eyes out when I saw the Edie aspect in this book because I felt so understood, and I finally read a character that had the same feelings that I did, and it was just amazing to read about it. How can you not be one of my instant buy authors when you write characters that I relate to, you know? Relatability is a big thing for me in my instant buy authors, and Alice Oseman writes really relatable characters in aspect of mental health. I love it. My next instant buy author could be recognized by the way the books look in my hand. Yeah, you're right, it's Stephanie Garber. I love Stephanie Garber's writing style. It's amazing. It's so magical. It's so fun. Let me not even get started on the fact that Stephanie Garber is a pretty mysterious author and character by herself. My sister read the Caraval trilogy too, and she tried to have a presentation on it, and she couldn't even find out how old Stephanie Garber was. You can't find anything on her, and that just adds to her mysterious image, and I love it. Makes me want to buy even more of her books. Anyways, right, I read the Caraval series. I fell in love right away. It's amazing. It's one of my top reads of 2022. Great story. And then guess what I had to buy right away? Yeah, the Once Upon a Broken Heart duet. I'm also reading Once Upon a Broken Heart this month. And even though the romance plotline is pretty big in these books, you can tell that fantasy is still the focus and that romance is still a side plot, which I really like. But you still see all the hints for the romance leading up to when it actually starts happening. Stephanie Garber writes such amazing chemistry and tension. You always know that these people love each other. You want to learn how to write chemistry? Write chemistry like Stephanie Garber because it's just amazing. Especially the tension, bantering, and chemistry in Legendary. It's over the top, so good, top tier chemistry, top tier romance, top tier fantasy, top tier author, and instant buy author. My next instant buy author is V.E. Schwab. This is probably the one author where it's very clear why she is my instant buy author, because it's just because of one book, and I have not read a lot of her books. Because for all the other ones, I've read the majority of them, but with V.E. Schwab, I read less than half of her books, and I still own all of them because the writing style is just so good. My first book of V.E. Schwab was The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I fell in love right away. I obviously read this when this blew up really big on TikTok. The writing in here was amazing. I love the romance subplot line. It seems so magical and so fun. Following to that, I read Gallant and The Near Witch. I love The Near Witch. This is also her debut novel, which is so good for the first novel to ever be written and published. How? I don't know, but it was so good. And then I read Gallant, which was okay, because even though Gallant had literally no plot, it had no storyline, the writing was still so good that I was still so entertained and wanted to read the entire book in one sitting, and that's what I did. And I think that's quite impressive, because how are you going to write a book that has no plot, but it's still so entertaining to read because it's just written so beautifully and so magical? I don't know how to do it. Ask V. Schwab, because she does it and it's amazing. And guess what I then bought? Yeah, I bought Vicious and A Darker Shade of Magic. I'm actually reading Vicious this month because Vanessa chose it for me, and I'm very freaking excited. And don't even get me started on this trilogy. I just love the kind of darker gothic magic that V. Schwab writes. Again, when I'm reading her books, this is where I am. I'm in London, sitting in a library when it's raining outside and it's cloudy, and I'm wearing this kind of black cape, and it's raining and I'm drinking coffee and tea, and it's like the evening, the sun's already down, you can only see the street lanterns, and I have a candle next to me on the desk. That is what I feel like when I read V. Schwab, and I love that feeling so much. Love her books, can't wait to read Vicious. Buy her books and read her books. And then my last instant by author, because I have 10 at the moment, is Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Jennifer Lynn Barnes wrote the Inheritance Games trilogy. I absolutely love book 1 and book 2. Book 3 was okay, but I do not care. After reading book 1, I had to buy the Natural series because I fell in love with her writing style, her mystery, and as well as her well thought out plot lines. Because you can yet again tell with Jennifer that she plans the ending for her books when she writes the first one. Or that's at least the vibe I'm getting. I actually don't know if she does it or not, but it feels like it. Everything is planned out so well. I mean, we get little things revealed in the final gambit that were actually first mentioned in the Inheritance Games. Everything is so well thought out. It's so good. I love it. And so I can't wait to read the Natural, because the Natural is also a thriller series. And since I love the Le Gasp moments, the thriller aspects of shocker moments, and the plot twist in the Inheritance Games, I know I'm gonna love these two. Yet again, Jennifer Lynn Barnes and Holly Jackson are the two instant by authors that I have here because of the Le Gasp moments and the plot twist, because I just never know what's happening, and it just makes them such good authors. I love it. That is my last instant by author of today. I'm pretty sure this is a really short video because I don't really know how much you all wanted to know about these authors or about these books, but I think I said enough for each of them. And I hope that you at least find some new instant by authors, even though I think that most of these are already pretty popular. But if not, you know what? Check out their books, buy their books, and read their books because they're amazing. Yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can do a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of my content, you can subscribe. I hope you all have a great day, evening, nighttime, morning, whatever time zone in. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Go read a book. Read Killjoy. Read the prequel to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. It's literally so good. And then I'm forcing you to read This Woven Kingdom. Read The Lucky List, because I actually have not heard a lot about The Lucky List online. Most people talk about She Gets the Girl, but The Lucky List was just so good. You have to read it. You know what I'm gonna say? Read When You Were Everything. Oh my gosh, what a shocker. Who would have thought I'd say that? Not me. Yeah, again, thank you all so much for watching this video. Have a great day. Happy reading, and see you next time.